and headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, I'm Nema Atieno. Thank you for joining us, our viewers from Kenya and around the world, to Deadline News Today, where we share with you what's new and trending on arts and culture, health, economics, and education. On to our top story today. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II honored hymn writer Keith Getty this week, an officer of the Order of British Empire. The award recognizes Getty for his contribution to music and modern hymn writing. It is the first time that the award has been given to an individual in the world of contemporary church music, according to charismanews.com. Mombasa Road has been declared the deadliest in terms of road fatalities by the National Transport and Safety Authority. Latest statistics relayed by the National Transport and Safety Authority indicated that Mombasa Road recorded an astonishing 42 deaths in the past 1 year. Johnny Cash, Elvis, and Don Moen, among artists in Spotify, are making a playlist to honor the late Reverend Billy Graham, who died early this year in February at the age of 99. Nearly 70 songs make up the playlist. Music was part of Billy Graham's ministry, helping prepare the hearts of listeners for the gospel of Jesus Christ. For our special story today, a popular digital music provider, Spotify, is hiring the late Reverend Billy Graham with the playlist. Reverend Billy Graham, who passed on early this year in February, made impact in the life of many people through his books that he wrote and also his songs that he wrote, and some were sung by his son. It is a great honor to see artists coming together to honor their fellow artists. Let us take a look at the situation in Kenya. It is very rare to hear that artists are coming together to honor their fellow artist who has passed on or who is still alive and made impacts in the life of Kenyans. The big question is, why is this happening? Why can't you honor our best gospel artists? Send me your comments onto my Twitter handle at Nema_Atieno and on Facebook at Nema Atieno. Hashtag honoring our best gospel artist. My phone won't stop buzzing due to the comments I'm receiving on Twitter. At Sifa_Imelda, she is saying that, indeed the gospel industry has evolved and our young generation are getting lost into this world. Praise and worship ain't praise and worship anymore. Our reporter Myron Ekenso went out to the field to find out more on what people think on a topic of discussion. Take a look.
Gospel music is a genre of Christian music. The creation, performance, significance, and even the definition of gospel music varies according to culture and context. Gospel music is composed and performed for many purposes, including aesthetic pleasure, religious or ceremonial purposes, and as an entertainment product for the marketplace. A group of artists like Don Moen, Johnny Cash, and many others are putting together a playlist to honor the late Reverend Billy Graham, who passed early on this year. What about here in Kenya? We have had and still do have good gospel artists, especially from the 20th century, like Mary Atieno and many more. Their songs are more of content which inspire us each and every day. But these artists are slowly being forgotten because their songs are rarely played. The most played songs are those from the 21st century gospel artists. I got to interact with some individuals and they got to share with me whether they listen to the 21st or 20th century gospel music and the reasons as to why.
I listen to both of them. I listen to the 20th century because it has a lot. I think it deals more with the content in the music, and the 21st century is anytime I feel low, I think it's more of a hyped music type of music. The 21st century is more of a hyped type of music. Yeah.
And
I'd say Kenyans, they are curious. That's one thing. So they want to listen to what is new in the market, regardless of whether it has content or not content. They want to listen to something new. And I think the current generation, they are more concentrated on the hyping part and dancing and everything, and not more concentrated on the content. I'm not saying the 21st century, some of its music doesn't have the content, but I feel that there is much more content in the 20th century music. So people listen to it because more of excitement and everything.
I really don't think it's about the artist, but rather the message. So most of the time I find myself including the 21st and the 20th century work together. Most of the time, people find that they can get, like for example, let me give an example, like Willie Paul. People will relate more to Willie Paul because he's a youth and he's bringing the gospel in a way that they won't be forced, like ile. It's not more of worship, but more of hype. Yeah.
Reporting for Dateline News, I am Marion Nekesa.
Our correspondent joins us live from Nairobi. Marion, if you can hear me, can you tell us more on what you found and what is your opinion on our topic of discussion?
Well, Neema, people prefer to listen to gospel music from the 21st century because we are in the 21st century and that is the kind of music they mostly relate to. I think music from the 20th century is more of content as compared to that of the 21st century, which is more of hype and entertainment, and it appeals to a younger generation. Back to your studio, Neema.
Let me read one more comment. At Charlotte_Queen, she is saying that the gospel music today is more of hype and it focuses on entertainment, number of audience, and making more money. For our special story today, we have guests with us who will help us to understand more on this topic. I am joined live by gospel artist Evelyn Ogari, Daystar Assistant Chaplain Reverend Josephat Busili, and an upcoming 21st century gospel artist Jacqueline Medza. Welcome to the show. To you, Evelyn Ogari, as a 20th century gospel artist, what do you think about honoring our best gospel artist of the 20th century?
Honoring our gospel musicians. Now, we have different categories of musicians. We have the musicians of the 19th century, we have the musicians of the 20th century, we have the musicians of the 21st century. Now, let me talk about the 20th century musicians because those are the musicians at least I know and probably have dealt with. I want to give an example of people who even are alive. People like Kasaunga, people like Mary Atieno, and people like Reuben Kagame, people like Mary Wamboi, people like Jamie Mathiomo. Now, it is a good gesture to honor them because, like other countries, they have taken music to be one of the things that contribute to the economy of a country. Let me talk about the European countries, or probably just countries that come from the Western culture. They really embrace music so much because music contributes a lot to the economy of those countries. And when a musician has grown old or has died, what they do is that they actually use they use their music to even create other initiatives that can contribute, can still, out of that music that can still help the economy of the country. So in Kenya, we do not have that kind of a thing. But just the other day, when one of the musicians died, that is called Kamaru. Of course, the president attended that funeral. Of course, the other big people attended the funeral. But that was not enough because he's been there for years, and never at one point that we could have even just a performance to honor these great musicians. And this is because Kenya probably does not impress so much of these musicians. And that is why even we realize that some of them even die very poor, because our country does not embrace so much of the art, not knowing that it is the art that actually builds an economy of the country. Right now, many artists, musicians whose music have been played so much has really created a lot of money, has actually provided a lot of money, especially to the country, and yet the country cannot learn that. So it is very important because it's a good gesture to honor them, because these are the people who have contributed to even what we have nowadays.
To you, Reverend Musili, why is it that we do not really appreciate the gospel artists of the 20th century like Mary Atieno, but only care about the 21st century gospel artist?
It should be happening, but the challenge is music, just like life is very dynamic. And so what used to be the talk of 21st century in terms of music has totally changed. Secondly, the people that appreciate music keep on. They also the niche keeps changing because it's dynamic, and so majorly the gospel artists will be appreciated by the people that listen to that music, and so I would say they are honored, but then by the only people that love their music. And that time, of course, technology was not where it is today. We did have YouTube channels, we did have many media houses, and so we may not have as many people knowing their songs or playing their songs, because even recording the songs was done on cassettes, not even on CD. And so translating that into to match with the current technology may be a challenge. And because people that are already working in those very media houses already have the contemporary gospel artists, and so they would be tempted to play their music and listen to their music more. That could be the challenge, because there's already a generational gap between gospel artists in the 20th century and now into the 21st century. And that gap, of course, affects how much we would feel whether they are honored or not honored. I can almost give a promise that probably in the 22nd century, we will not be talking about gospel artists in the 21st century. Because again, there will still be a gap. But their music is still available in some music stores.
Finally, to you, Medza. As an upcoming gospel artist in the 21st century, what do you think should be done in order to honor the gospel artists from the 20th century?
One is by involving them for the young people, because they are people who have grown in the word. The 20th century musicians are people who have grown in the word. So the young people should look for mentors. Not mentors their age, but mentors who have the word. Involving them, and also in our music. For example, if you're having a concert, you could put the music in the concert. For example, like Hakuna Mungu mwingine ila Jehovah could be put in the concert. It's not all about being digital, but it's about the content in the song. So involving them in what we do can also bring them to do even more. And also playing their music on TV stations. And I also think by them, they had songs, but I think the Holy Spirit gives new songs every time. They should also do more of recording. And I like what Pastor Ruben Kigame does, and he has brought up the young people. So the people who he has mentored are the people who have the word. But unfortunately, when they produce their songs, it is not spread, it is not seen on TV, it is not heard on radio. And most young people tend to give up and decide to do songs that have no meaning. It's like bubble gum, it's just bubbling. And by having them as mentors, by involving them in what we do, we'll involve them in our music industry.
This brings us to the end of the Opinion Leader segment. Thank you all for coming to the show. I will read one more comment at m_Sylvia. She is saying that, indeed it is good to appreciate our best gospel artists, for they are preparing us for the kingdom of God. Welcome to my How I Got Show with you, my thoughts on our topic of discussion. It is indeed a great thing to hear artists coming together to honor their fellow artists, but it is rare to hear that is happening here in Kenya. We've had best gospel artists of the 20th century like Angela Chibalonza, who passed on, but she is slowly being forgotten. Why is this happening? This is because we're in the 21st century, and the 21st century generation want to listen to music that they conform to, that is more of hype and entertainment. This brings us to the end of Deadline News today. Join me next week at the same time, same place. We can still continue our conversation onto my Twitter handle at Nema_Atieno and on Facebook at Nema Atieno. I was your host, Nema Atieno. Goodbye.